Ever felt lost in the sea of choices and decisions you've got to make? The truth is, without a clear strategy, any path might seem like the right one, but that's a huge mistake. Defining strategic goals is like drawing a map before entering uncharted territory. If you don't know where you're heading, you'll end up anywhere, and often, that anywhere isn't where you really want to be. Setting clear goals isn't just about jotting things down. It's an act of self-awareness that gives you power and focus. When you set a goal, you create a tangible target that guides every step you take. Think of goals as your compass. They steer your actions and help you avoid distractions. Each strategic goal you establish brings you closer to what truly matters. Here's a hard truth. Many settle for what's easy, getting stuck in their comfort zone, avoiding the challenge of committing to what they really want. That's self-sabotage in action. Now, let me ask you, are your goals crystal clear? Do they fire you up, or do they feel like a far-off dream? If it's the latter, it's time for a reset. The best strategies turn vague dreams into concrete action plans with clear deadlines and realistic steps. Make no mistake, you've got to truly want these goals and be willing to fight for them, even when things get tough. Are you ready to commit to defining goals that will really propel you forward? Because with each step you take toward a well-defined goal, your strategy gets stronger and victory becomes inevitable. So, are you ready to take control of your future? Did you know many people fail before they even start because they don't understand the battlefield? Ignoring your environment and context is like stepping into a boxing match blindfolded. To use an effective strategy, you've got to take a deep dive into your surroundings first. The environment isn't just a backdrop, it shapes your reality and the options you have. If you're clueless about the forces around you, you might be fighting an enemy you can't even see. This analysis goes beyond just observing external circumstances. It's about understanding what's relevant to you and how it impacts your decisions. Do you know your competitors? Are you aware of their strengths and weaknesses? More importantly, do you understand your own abilities in relation to what's available? Many people jump in without this clarity and end up wasting time and energy on battles they shouldn't be fighting. Think about it. When was the last time you paused to really assess your environment? Most people rush through their days without stopping to reflect on what's happening around them. A thorough analysis can reveal opportunities you never imagined and threats you didn't notice. It's the key to tweaking your strategy and making the right moves before charging ahead. So, are you ready to look outward and truly understand what's going on? Because noticing the nuances of your context can turn an ordinary strategy into something extraordinary. Are you prepared to open your eyes to the reality around you? Did you know that many aspiring winners don't fail because they lack talent, but because they don't know how to leverage what they already have? Assessing available resources is a critical part of strategic planning, and ignoring it is like going to war without weapons. Before you dive into any endeavor, you need a clear understanding of what you can count on. Time, money, skills, connections, they all form the arsenal you'll rely on. And here's a tough pill to swallow. Dreaming big is useless if you don't have the tools to build that vision. Now, take a good look around you. What resources do you have that you haven't tapped into yet? Sometimes the answer is right under your nose, but you've been so conditioned to focus on your limitations that you overlook the opportunities. This means that for every goal you set, you need to make a realistic assessment of what's at your disposal. Resources aren't just physical, they're also the skills you've honed and the relationships you've built along the way. If you don't know what you have, how can you create an effective plan? Evaluating your available resources is, above all, an exercise in honesty. You've got to be real about what you can achieve and in what time frame. Too often, the desire to push beyond limits leads to overpromising and setting unrealistic expectations. When you embrace your limitations, you can design a plan that's both ambitious and doable. Ready to face the truth about what you've got in hand? Because when you honestly evaluate your resources, you don't just prepare better, you give yourself the chance to create a strategy that truly works. Are you ready to analyze what you've got and use it to build something extraordinary? Have you ever stopped to think about who's in your arena? Many people underestimate the importance of knowing their competitors and allies, but that can be a fatal mistake. The truth is, to craft an effective strategy, you've got to know who's playing in the same field and what their intentions are. Competitors might pose a threat, but they can also teach you valuable lessons about what to do and what not to do. Understanding their strengths and weaknesses is essential, not just to defend yourself, but to position yourself strategically. And don't forget about allies. They're a crucial part of your game. The right allies can take your mission to the next level, offering support, resources, and fresh perspectives. You might have more allies than you think, but you've got to be willing to seek them out. This isn't just networking. It's about building genuine relationships that can strengthen your journey. Now let me ask you, do you really know who's around you? Take a hard look at the people in your work, personal life, and passions. Identifying competitors and allies is a strategic practice that can open doors and help you avoid pitfalls. What seems like competition might actually turn into a beneficial collaboration. Are you ready to dig into your relationships and understand how each person in your life can influence your path? Because how you position yourself with your competitors and allies could be the difference between failure and success. Are you prepared to use this knowledge to your advantage? Ever noticed how even the best laid plans can fall apart in the blink of an eye? The reality is, no matter how prepared you are or how solid your strategy is, the world keeps spinning. Flexibility in your approach is crucial to navigating the uncertainties and challenges that pop up along the way. If you cling too tightly to one plan, you risk becoming obsolete, unable to adapt to change. A solid strategy is like water. It flows and adjusts to its surroundings, shaping itself to fit what's needed. Flexibility doesn't mean you shouldn't have firm goals. It means that as you chase those goals, you need to stay alert to shifts and be willing to tweak your approach when necessary. When situations call for a new direction, the ability to adapt quickly can make all the difference between winning and losing. Life's full of surprises, and sometimes the unexpected can open doors you didn't even know were there. Think about it. When was the last time you allowed yourself to change course? If you've never embraced this flexibility, you might be missing out on valuable opportunities. Many people get stuck in a rigid idea of how things should be, but real power lies in knowing when to pivot and explore new paths. That mindset leads to innovation and growth. Ready to let go of rigidity and embrace flexibility? Because every moment of adaptation can turn into a strategic step toward your ultimate goal. Life's dynamic, and your approach should be, too. Are you ready to mold yourself to the circumstances and use them to your advantage? Have you ever felt like you're running in circles, getting nowhere? Reviewing and adjusting your strategy are fundamental steps that many overlook, but they're crucial if you want to make real progress. The truth is, no strategy is perfect from the get-go. What works today might not work tomorrow, and that's okay. What matters is your willingness to look back on your actions, evaluate the results, and course correct when needed. Reviewing your strategy requires brutal honesty. You've got to face your successes and failures with equal seriousness. What worked? What didn't? Here's where most people stumble. They're afraid to confront the reality that some of their decisions might have been wrong. But if you don't allow yourself this introspection, you're dooming yourself to repeat the same mistakes. This process of review is your chance to learn, grow, and become stronger. Adjusting your strategy doesn't mean you're giving up. Quite the opposite. It shows you're committed to your goal. Life is a continuous experiment, and every iteration brings you closer to success. Are you willing to review what you've done and make the changes that matter? Because the ability to adapt your strategy based on experience is what separates those who thrive from those who merely try. So, be ready to embrace the process of reviewing and adjusting. It won't just give you a clear view of what needs to change. It'll also let you fine-tune your plan so every step aligns more closely with your ultimate objectives. Are you ready to turn every mistake into a powerful lesson?